Welcome, dear friends, to my channel, Crafting with Indiana Jones. I'm here, blossoming into your garden to bring you some whimsical inspirations for spring and Easter. Let's see what I came up with today. I am so happy that my wonderful friends asked me to be part of this collaboration. All of these creative ladies came together to bring to you a whimsical Easter and spring decor DIY ideas. So let's get started. So my ideas can be used both for spring and for Easter, so I hope that you are inspired to create some of your own. Now, you know how much I love teacups, so I don't know why I decided to just do a whimsical teacup. I just put together all these things with teacups because I have a bunch of teacups hanging around. And look at this mini little teapot. I found a teapot. It was short and stout, and I had to carry it from the store right on out into my home and make something beautiful with it. So here I am working with this I'm a nut. I am really a nut. Talk about the Mad Hatter. I'm like the Mad Crafter. Anyway, here I am going to use this lovely teacup, and there is my cat, because if Luna's not here, what is the point of crafting, right? So here what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to balance out the weight of that little teapot, because I'm going to make a floating teapot instead of a floating teacup, a floating teapot. So I have to balance out the weight, or balance out the weight at the bottom of that styrofoam so that the teacup won't flip over because of the weight of the teapot. Do you understand what I'm saying? Just watch what I'm doing. So basically I'm putting together all these rocks with some glue, and there's Guru, because I need an audience to watch me, So I'm gluing these rocks on the bottom of that styrofoam to create a counterweight with the little teapot. So I try to make sure that the teacup is balanced. You'll see what I mean in a moment. Guru is stepping in on the second shift now. And by the way, I was told that I was saying the name wrong. It should be something else, but the cat's name is Guru. That's it. That's what we're naming the cat. But anyway, so she came in for the second shift, taking over for Luna because she had to take a break, They have a union. The kittens have a union. Did you not know this? Yes. So here I am placing a very stiff wire, and I think this was just from one of my, and both of them are there now. This is a wire that came off of, I think it was flowers or something, but it's a very heavy gauge wire. And that is what I'm going to use to make the floating teapot. Again, it's not a floating teacup. I usually do a floating teacup. This time it's a floating teapot with two kittens. This was, I don't know why, they were just so curious as to what I was doing. They would not leave me alone. There are points in this video where you will not be able to see what I'm doing because they're just smack dab in the middle, but I kept filming. So here I am. I'm going to place the teacup again using the counterweight at the bottom of the styrofoam, which I'm using rocks so that it can produce a counterweight for the teapot. Now I have to glue the wire so that the teapot doesn't keep flipping around, as you see there. And then I was lucky that the teapot was open. There you go. Look, I got it to balance. Luna was very, very impressed, as you can see, as she walked away. But there you go. Now we have the floating teapot. Now, to cover the wire, we just have to use a little bit of moss because it's going to be flowing into like a mini garden, a mini teacup garden. Now, there's nothing I love more than something whimsical, and usually you would think I would go straight to, Mackenzie Childs, but this time I don't know, teacups. So there are 3 teacup or tea related crafts. This is what they're all going to be, with 2 cats. 3 crafts, 2 cats, 1 lunatic trying to craft in the middle of the night. So anyway, here I am placing the moss. You know how much I love moss. Moss gets everywhere, and this is reindeer moss from the Dollar Tree, and I think the cats thought that it was catnip. I don't know if maybe the smell of the moss is what was, getting them so curious, but that's why they were all over my crafting. It was very hard. I was trying not to wanted to make sure they didn't get any kind of, hot glue burns or anything. So I was trying to be very careful with the kitty cats and the crafting. By the way, I have to tell you how much I appreciate all the kind, sweet words that you have left in the comments regarding my kittens. As you know, when I lost my tiger last year, it left a bit of a hole in my heart, especially after losing my mom and everything. But these two little kittens have really, I mean, they keep my days filled with joy just watching them and their curious little ways. They're just adorable. So now let's fill the garden with some flowers. Now these are little flowers that I had from the Dollar Tree from last year. Again, trying to use the stash that I have. Yes, I bought the teapot at Hobby Lobby this year, but I had a gift certificate, so that doesn't count. Anyway, that's how I see it. Anyway, as long as I'm not spending new money and it's just, you know, gift money, that was a gift. So here I'm just filling it up so you can fill up the little garden. And by the way, the teapot came plain white, and I added those little appliques or those stickers, or they weren't transfers, they were stickers. And those were from the Dollar Tree as well, because it just felt too plain with the beautiful flowered teacup underneath. So this is all I'm doing, is just filling up the little garden. I'm putting little rocks in there, I'm putting little flowers, and there you have it. I think it came out so cute, so whimsical, and something kind of like the Mad Hatter's Mad Tea. I think he would like this, don't you? Now to me, nothing screams Easter and spring like Easter eggs and little birdies. I love birds. I love birdhouses, bird cages, anything with birds, bird nests, bird. So I'm going to take advantage of this other beautiful little teacup and create, just imagine that I left the teacup out on my front porch and it was a rainy, blustery day, and all of a sudden a little bird comes to settle their little nest onto my teacup. So that's the whole process here. Same thing, I'm using styrofoam, and the styrofoam I'm using is from the Dollar Tree. The first one was white styrofoam, now I'm using the green styrofoam, but same thing. And now what I'm using is these branches that I just plucked from my front yard. If you ever came by my house, you would see me either picking up rocks or picking up branches to make this craft. If I had moss growing on my trees, I would be grabbing the moss from my trees as well. But I will be using Spanish moss once again from the Dollar Tree. Now here I settled for this branch. And what's cool about branches is you can add other branches to your branch. Does that make sense? So I added another branch, and what I did was put a little bit of moss so you couldn't see the juncture of the two branches. Now imagining that not only are there branches, but there are also leaves that come to make part of the nest. So here I'm just adding some leaves that I got from one of my floral bushes from Dollar Tree. And this one I liked because it had a bit of a little bit of a coating, like a paint or something. So they were kind of fuzzy. I don't know, I really like them. And here we go, more moss. So I'm putting moss around the perimeter. Yeah, the perimeter around, because in the middle I'm going to use that shredded coconut that you see there in the background. You'll see in a minute how I use that to create our little nest. I think this is the best material if you're going to create your own nest. It's very easy to work with. It is a bit messy, but hey, it comes with the territory of being crafty and creative. You're gonna make a mess. No doubt about it, you're gonna make a mess. I don't know, maybe there's like, there are some crafters that are very, I don't know, they're very clean and keep everything nice and neat and tidy, but I'm not one of those. So here we go. There, all I did was like swirl around that coconut, shredded coconut that you use in plants and stuff. And that's it. I just created a little nest. I tried to make a little divot in the middle, as you see. And then here's my beautiful little rose-colored bird. I just thought she was so pretty, so shabby chic. I think whimsical is very part of the shabby chic decor. So there's my little bird, and now I'm going to find some little eggs to add to her little nest. Oh yes, wait a second. I'm adding some leaves to the branches to make it look more realistic. Now that she's there, I've settled on her branch, I wanted to add some little leaves as well. And now I'm adding her little eggs. There are her two little eggs that she's come to take care of. And she just, nestled into that teacup that had been abandoned after an afternoon tea one day outside by the veranda in the English countryside. Yes, my imagination goes all wild. But yes, in the English countryside, in my little cottage, outside I left one little abandoned teacup, and this little lovely bird decided to make it her home. And I was more than happy to host this lovely little guest to my afternoon tea. Isn't that cute? I love it. Now for this next one, I am using a box of kitten food and an old plastic Dollar Tree frame. The Dollar Tree frame was originally black. I went outside and I spray painted it gold. I know usually I would go white, but this time I was like, yeah, it's got to be whimsical. Let's make it gold. So here I am cutting down this Fancy Feast box. It doesn't have to be a Fancy Feast box. It could be any box you like, but that cat was creeping me out, especially since I had to like cut its head on each one of the panels. It was really a creepy looking cat. Anyway, here all I'm doing is cutting it down just to make sure that it fits. I didn't want it to be too wide in the back, but I do want to create a shadow box. And now I'm folding down around 1 inch all the way around to make sure that my little frame fits it, and then I have those little folds will help me to glue the frame to that box. Now I'm using this I love that color. Of course I do. It's teal, it's blue, it's green, you know, those are my favorite colors. I do love pink too. I'm going to be using more pink this year. So anyway, I'm using a glue stick to glue that backdrop into my little shadow box, just to give it a little bit of life. I thought it looked a little bit like an afternoon sky. That's what I thought it looked like. And as you can see, I kept the flaps on the side so that it would cover the side part of this shadow box. There I am, fixing everything in. And again, I'm using a glue stick simply because I didn't want to have to deal with any kind of wrinkles or anything. And it just was so much easier. And for what I needed to do, I think it's perfect. So get your glue sticks out. Thank goodness for glue sticks. Remember the days, back in the days, we didn't have glue sticks when we were young. We had Elmer's. Put that stuff all over your hands, make it like fake skin. You pretend it was fake skin. Anyway, I digress like always. And you know, there's no cats in this. I know the cats probably fell asleep. I was surprised there's no cats around. Anyway, now I'm taking some styrofoam just to be able to lift up what I'm going to add into the shadow box. I'm not going to tell you yet. Gotta watch all the way to the end so you can see what I add to the shadow box. But look at it, it's looking really nice already. So to that styrofoam, of course, I'm going to glue it down to the inside of my little shadow box. And then on top of that, of course, what else is whimsical and very much a part of spring and Easter? Moss, more moss. So this moss I actually got from Hobby Lobby. Why? Because I had a gift certificate. I gotta use it. And I just wanted to use something that was a little greener. Now they do have sheets of moss, but the sheets of moss are more expensive, and I'm cheap as can be. So I was like, I can just like pop it in there using this little, I guess, a coffee stirrer. Very good to use, especially when you're gluing down moss with hot glue. And I'm just settling that in so it looks like grass, like the grass from a garden. I really want to create like a little garden scene in this shadow box because it's Easter, it's springtime, and it'll give you, especially if you're still dealing with snow and wintry weather. I'm so sorry for you. I mean, we're in February, but I know a lot of people are still dealing with snow and cold weather, but the hope of spring is right around the corner. I think that's very important to keep in mind. Now, as you can see, I used that little wooden table that I had gotten at the Dollar Tree, and I cut off a bit of the back so that it would fit properly inside of my shadow box. Now I'm taking some more branches that I had pulled from my front yard, and I'm going to create like a mini tree. Again, I'm going to add some more branches. Actually, I wanted to add a stronger base for this so that I can glue it into the styrofoam. So now to this little branch, I'm going to add some leaves and some greenery and just make it look like a mini tree within my shadow box. I think this is so pretty. I haven't made a shadow box in a long time, so I was very happy to do this. And again, I really love working with teacups and, you know, anything having to do with a scene, an afternoon tea. I love that. If you've never had an afternoon tea, treat yourself one of these days. You really should find a place nearby where you can enjoy an afternoon tea in a lovely garden somewhere. So this is it. I'm just adding some more greenery, and now I'm going to add a few little flowers, little blossoms to my beautiful little tree. I don't know what it is, but lately I love doing little miniature things. Like, I don't know if I would get into a whole, little house, miniature house, but I do like to do little projects like this. It's just so cute. So here I am affixing the tree into my little garden. Everything's little this, little that. And just putting the tree into my little garden, as you can see there. And now I'm going to add the table and all the other accoutrements to what would be an afternoon tea in the middle of a garden. So it's very fun to do this, especially if you can find items at the Dollar Tree. And that little table's from the Dollar Tree, the branches from outside, the little flowers and leaves, again, from the Dollar Tree. So this is not a very expensive project if you want to make this. And again, if you wanted to, add some lights to this, add some fairy lights. This would be so cool to have, again, in a little girl's room or even in your room. Now, I took one of these little mini bottles. I don't know if you've seen these little mini bottles that you have at the Dollar Tree. And to it, I'm just going to add some little blossom, or little, I keep saying, how many times am I going to say little, people? A lot for this one. So I'm adding some little blossoms, and as you can see, I added some hot glue into the glass bottle, and it does get very hot when you hold this bottle, but it's cool because it makes it look like there's water inside the vase. And there are my little blossoms to add to my table. Now, of course, I wasn't going to just add the table and the vase and everything else without a proper tablecloth. So after the fact that I had glued the table in, I decided to add a lace tablecloth, but it doesn't take that much. It's just a little piece of lace left over and just getting it into the table. It didn't take that long, but if you start fiddling around with it, trying to make it perfect, trying to folds, put the little folds here and there, but it works out just fine. And I love the lace that I used. So now I'm going to put together my little tea set inside of that garden tea escape. And look, I got this from Dollar Tree. It was a Barbie set, and it was all these bright colors, and I painted it white. And I was thinking, and here come my kittens, because there's no such thing as a tea party without guests. So here are my kittens to join me. And yes, that is a kitten butt in the middle of what I was trying to do. So I painted everything white with a spray paint outside, and I didn't like it. It was too white. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to use some pink, not blue, not green. I'm going to use some pink. So here I am just painting the whole little tea set pink. And now you're going to say, but Annie, wasn't it pink to begin with? Yes, but it was like a bubblegum pink. I wanted a very light, soothing, pastel Easter pink. Isn't that cute? Look at this. So now I'm just gluing my little tea set into, am I like describing everything I'm doing? You can see what I'm doing, right? There you go. It's so funny when I do this late at night. But there you see, I am placing my little teacups, and I have a little plate of little mini goodies that I just had around the house, because why not? Mini little goodies. And I just thought that was so perfect. I wish I could go to that whimsical little tea garden and enjoy a cup of tea with you. Wouldn't you love to do that? We should have a virtual tea party. Why don't we do that? I think we're going to do that. I don't know when. I'm so busy. One of these afternoons, I'm going to say, hey, prepare your tea and let's, get some of your favorite biscuits, and let's have a live virtual tea party. So here I am just cutting those corners so that I can affix my frame to my shadow box. And again, it was a shadow box that I made out of a box that I was going to just throw away in the garden. In the garbage. I don't throw things away in the garden. And no, don't do that. Don't throw things away in your garden. Just, unless it's for composting or something like that. Just throw it away in the garbage. But don't throw it away in the garbage, because you can make a shadow box. Oh my God, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, people. Lord EB. So here I am affixing the frame to my shadow box, and there you have it. If you enjoyed this video and want some more whimsical inspiration, please remember to check our playlist down listed below. All of these lovely ladies I am so happy and privileged to call my friends, so please check out their channels. Thank you once again for stopping by and spending some time with me. There's nothing more precious than to have you come and watch what I create each and every week. As I always say, stay safe, be kind, God bless each and every one of you, and remember to live the adventure. And remember to like, share, and subscribe as I continue to grow my channel and create a beautiful blossoming garden of creative ideas for you. God bless and see you soon.